Hello and welcome to the Make a Difference Community Partner Grants. Today we are excited to talk through all of the different grants that are being offered by these phenomenal organizations in the Twin Cities community. As we go along, I'll save that for another slide actually, because I think there's one that I'll talk about this. But I'm excited to have the opportunity to share and have everyone here share. One of the things that we've found is that not every nonprofit is in the place to receive a grant just because there's a grant out there. And so part of our goal today is to share about what is the grant, what does it do, who's the best organization, or where might you be at in your journey to receive a said grant. I think all of us are trying to do what we can to help be a catalyst for all the great work that your organizations already do to help. If one of these grants can help you just get that extra oomph to jump to the next level, or to take you to the next level, or to help you serve more and do more of the great work that you do, that's what we're hoping to accomplish today, is to give you some visibility into that, welcome people into the grant process so we can find the right organizations to receive these donations of services from the different organizations here. So 1 minute about MyTech. We are not a grant company, even though that's what we're talking about today. We are a small, medium business technology consulting organization that we work with organizations from, 10 or 15 people to 500 or 1,000 people typically. And we have a proven IT strategy that we work with. It's not the only strategy, and candidly, we're not even saying it's the best strategy. It's just one that we know delivers consistent and reliable results for our clients. Ultimately, we try and remove IT challenges for you, because there's plenty of other issues that you have to deal with, so you can serve your customers better, serve your participants better, and adapt to the other business challenges and organizational challenges that we all end up facing. Together, we can help you achieve 4 times more value and productivity from your IT investments. But that's not why you're here today. If you want to talk about that, raise your hand. We'd love to chat. But otherwise, let's move on and let's dig into the grant. I think, this is a slide where it's a little embarrassing as I'm highlighting a quote of myself. But this is a big part of our mission to grow, help, and make a difference at MyTech. We do believe that if you are in the position and or have the ability to help, that it's more than just a nice thing. You really do have an obligation to help those in the community in which we live, work, and thrive. We just had an all-company meeting this morning, and we talked about right now in the world, it's a very politically, divisively charged environment. There's a lot of finger pointing and blaming happening. And I think what we're hoping to accomplish here is to recognize that regardless of what political affiliation you have, there are challenges in every community, and we're focusing on the Twin Cities community here this quarter to try and identify those organizations that are helping people that need help and doing some phenomenally great work. And we want to be part of, at least contribute a little to helping them, these great nonprofit organizations, do even more of the great work that they already do. So that's where I hope our focus can be, is that we're trying to help the community in which we all live, work, and thrive, and find a way to help the nonprofits continue to do the great work and expand the great work they do. So now I think we're going to dig into how some of the little bit of the why behind the community grant. So we started this journey a long time ago. MyTech turned 24 this month, and we were donating services to nonprofits from day one. And however, over the last several years, we've been working to evolve it into more of a process and an approach to really identify and hone in on the key folks. And we also realized that there's value in bringing the community together. Not only did we want to lend legitimacy to the process of finding a nonprofit and delivering a grant to them, but we also wanted to invite other businesses into donating some of their services and expertise and time to help the nonprofit community. So we do have different adjudicators that are the panel which they're going to kind of assess all the applications that are going to be coming in, and hopefully going to be able to, and we will find the nonprofits to align with these grants. And again, like I said, that is what we're here for today, is trying to help understand what the grants are about, who they will serve best, so that you can invite people into the application process and be eligible for those grants. All right, so let's start with Nancy. We haven't had the pleasure of, Nancy's, Corey's going to talk about it, but I haven't had the pleasure of meeting Nancy, although we are going to be going, they have an event coming up and we're going to be participating. I'm excited about that. But Corey, would you mind talking about Nancy's involvement as a grant consultant and adjudicator.
Absolutely. So I met Nancy earlier this summer, and I think the one word that I would use to describe her is fabulous. She is just an amazing person. She speaks, I think she's up to 7 languages that she speaks, which is just crazy. And she's the president and founder of Black Business Enterprises, which is an organization that helps connect people to specifically to the West African, East African, and African communities. So great, she's a connector, and we're so happy that she was able to be an adjudicator for us through this process.
Awesome, thank you, Corey. Let's go on to John. And John has been a longtime collaborator and client of MyTex as part of the Minnesota Council of Nonprofits. He's not able to be with us today, but Corey is very familiar and worked with John on the adjudication. So Corey, give a shout out about John.
Yeah, John is also really awesome. He's been with the Minnesota Council of Nonprofits for 12 or 14 years. He may be resting a little bit today. They're coming off of their annual conference, which was last Thursday and Friday, and had about 1,500 people at it. So I know he was busy with that. But John really understands the nonprofit world from the Minnesota Council's perspective, and I think also is going to be a great guide in helping us understand and help kind of match up the right organizations with the grants.
Awesome. Yeah, John has been a huge part of this and helping spread the word, leveraging the communication platform of the Minnesota Council of Nonprofits and the great work that they do in the community too. So yeah, thanks. I'm very, very appreciative that John and the organization are part of this process. All right, so I believe Stephanie is on the call today. Stephanie, I haven't had the chance to meet. I'm kind of surprised. Usually I'm the one that's been like finding and connecting all these people, but Corey has been doing a great job bringing people in. So we haven't had the pleasure of meeting in person, but I'm looking forward to that in the near future. But Stephanie, would you mind telling us a little bit about the grant that you're offering, as well as what you do? And if you can, give us some insight into maybe the journey. Where are people at? Where are nonprofits at in their journey, or what problems they might be dealing with, where your grant might be a great fit for them and they should consider applying?
Yes, good to meet you. Stephanie Snyder, Keystone Group International. We are a women-owned business in St. Louis Park. We are driving organizational impact at the human level. That's what I do in my day job. And then on the side, I also have coaching. And through Keystone, I also have executive coaching. It doesn't have to be for an executive. It's really leadership coaching. Anybody who would like personalized one-on-one coaching to grow and develop where they're at and where they want to be. So I'm offering 5 one-hour coaching sessions. And with that, it will be one-on-one, personalized and individualized for what the needs are of the individual. So really anybody who's looking to grow and develop or is facing roadblocks or barriers or wants to kind of break through to the next level, I'll help work with them to achieve that. Anybody who is, again, having a business challenge or personal challenge, personalizing the individualized coaching to kind of help get them to the next level.
Yeah, I love that. You know, in the world, so I'm going a little off script here, Stephanie, but you know, in the world, everybody says like, you should have a coach, you should have a mentor. It's sometimes like, well, where do you find those people? So you're one of those people. So I think that's something that is great. And I know, especially if you're the executive director or even the CEO of an organization, that can be a very lonely role. And because you oftentimes can't have some of those conversations with everybody on your team, you need somebody that's a coach. So I love that, and it's something that nonprofits can benefit from as well. So thank you so much for being part of this process. Excited to highlight your organization and what you do, as well as finding a great nonprofit where your services can bring some value.
Yes, looking forward to it.
Thank you. All right, we've got Jenna up next. So let's from Evolve Systems. I appreciate the collaboration. The Evolve Systems relationship is, I don't know, a year and a half or so from when we met you, and it's been fun getting to know you all a little bit, even though I haven't been a big part of that. I've heard through the grapevine a lot of great things. So Jenna, same thing. Can you tell us a little bit about what you're hoping to accomplish, and maybe what are some of the challenges that an organization might be going through where they'd be like, yeah, this would be a good fit for me, and they should apply?
Yeah, absolutely. Like you said, my name is Jenna Sherrick. I'm the Senior Marketing Manager here at Evolve. We are a digital creative and marketing agency that focuses on the B2B and middle market. The grant that we will be donating is a website audit. So this audit is going to hone in on the user experience, technical performance, and overall functionality of the website to really identify those growth opportunities. It's really nice when you get an audit to identify those quick wins that you know are going to make an impact immediately versus maybe the longer term things that need to be thought out a little bit. Some of the specific items we'll focus on is your navigation, the user journey, your page structure, page speed, and so on with technical details. The companies that would benefit most from this audit are companies who have a current website that isn't achieving the goals that they want to. Your website should be far more than just an online billboard. It could be for someone who's trying to seek talent, maybe someone who's looking for different donations, or maybe trying to convince other companies to work with them. All of these things your website should be doing for you on a daily basis. So we just want to help a company get there.
That's awesome. I think too, what I love about, I think sometimes people are like, well, I don't know if I need help with that, but it's so, when you're close, like anyone, when you're living inside of an organization and you're close to what you do, sometimes you struggle articulating it to someone who doesn't know what you do, because you have so much experience talking about what you do and knowing what you do. It's hard to like put yourself in their shoes, and that's one thing I love about having a third party in lots of different instances, but this in particular. So thanks a lot, Jenna, and for Evolve for participating in this process. Look forward to work with you closer through the adjudication journey here later in November. So moving on, we're going to go to MyTech. We've got actually some, and Patty's not on the call today. Patty's our general manager of our Microsoft 365 and security consulting practice that we have. We basically have, so I'm going to try and fill Patty's shoes, even though that's hard to do, and I'm not going to do it as good as justice as Patty would. But really, we have a few different offerings that are dealing with Microsoft 365, whether it be training, helping you get visibility into teams that aren't being used, channels that aren't being used, SharePoint sites that aren't being used, navigation that could be challenging. Jenna was just talking about the external website. This is really about your internal SharePoint structure and how your team navigates and finds information within, as well as possibly going through, a lot of cyber liability policies today are requiring having or wanting you to have an incident response plan. So we have an incident response plan workshop, a co-pilot boot camp. So there's a bunch of things that we might be able to do, and we left this generic enough so that the organizations that might apply, if any of those things, whether it be your Microsoft 365 Teams, SharePoint, training, co-pilot, governance, as well as on the security side, incident response plan workshop, building your cybersecurity roadmap, things like that, we can bring to the table. It just depends on what the organization is looking for. So we wanted to create some flexibility, but that is that's the service we're delivering. We're doing 2 of those. Or it's one winner to choose one of 2 prizes. Forgive me, just one of these, but they get to choose which option feels collaboratively the best fit. So that is one of the grants that MyTech's delivering as well. All right, John, Board of Director Training. Again, we haven't had the privilege of meeting, but thank you again for participating in this process. Please talk about where you found been able to deliver value here, and what are the challenges the organization might be dealing with, where you might be a great fit and they should apply.
Sure. So nice to meet you, Nate. And as he said, my name's John Sullivan, and I use he, him pronouns. I don't have a nice company logo because I'm retired, but I'm a retired attorney who really spent my career counseling large for-profit companies, primarily as their chief in-house counsel. And I've also served on and chaired a number of both large and small nonprofit boards. And my most recent professional position was as the EVP and general counsel for Carlson Companies. And recent nonprofit board leadership was as the chair of the board of trustees for the Minneapolis Foundation. I give you all that just because I think it's helpful to know that I really spent the bulk of my career advising and working with boards of directors for both for-profit as well as nonprofit companies, both locally and nationally. So what I'm doing in my retirement is I've tried to take the best way that I can continue to give back to the community is to use the skills and experiences I've gained over the years to help nonprofit boards be more effective as they're in their service to these nonprofit organizations. And how I got involved with MyTech, Corey, member of the MyTech team, is a good friend of mine, and we spent a lot of time talking about nonprofit and boards and what they do and how they can be better. And I've done this now with many local nonprofits and a couple of national nonprofits. And one of the fun things has been getting to learn about new organizations. So that's what I'm hoping to do here. And the 3-hour training session is really for the board and for senior leaders of a nonprofit. We'll discuss the specific roles and responsibilities of the board members and how those are best exercised in support of the mission of the organization. And who could benefit? I think it will really benefit any nonprofit, regardless of where they are in their life cycle. I think of like for newer nonprofits where the board members really play a more active role in the organization, the so-called working board. The training will really make sure that the board members are also understanding their governing responsibilities and allocate time to fulfill that. For more mature boards, where there's a well-established management and staff, the so-called governing boards, training will make sure that the board members understand the distinction between governance and management. And so most organizations fall somewhere between these two ends of the governing board, working board spectrum. And the program, I think, is just really helpful in making sure that both the board and senior leadership of the organization have a common understanding of their respective roles and responsibilities. So that's it. The only real requirement that I insist upon is that both the board and the senior leadership want to learn these skills together and make the organization stronger.
Yeah, John, thank you for that. It's the duties and responsibilities of a board is not something that, especially if you live in the for-profit world, most for-profit organizations, especially if they're private, small, they don't have a board, and so they don't really have any formal processes around that, and so they don't really understand it as well. And so I think there's a lot of value in understanding how a leadership team and a board can effectively work together. So thank you for bringing your expertise to the grant, and look forward to finding the nonprofit and that you'll be able to help out. And looking forward to meeting you too.
Look forward to it. Thank you.
Thanks, John. All right, let's move it on to Jason. I know we're trying to move in quick, but there's a lot of grants that were delivered. We got a lot of great organizations here, so trying to make sure we hit on everybody. All right, Jason, pleasure to virtually meet you. As again, we haven't had a chance to meet in person. Please touch base on your organization, what you do, and the ideal fit. Like, what kind of challenges might an organization be going through where they could really leverage your expertise?
Yes, hello, welcome everyone. It's my pleasure to be here. Game Changer Communications is a full-service strategic communications agency. We have clients across the spectrum of industry and size. We are all about helping to create and accelerate value for organizations and helping them sort of unlock the next phase of their growth, find their voice in a marketplace, do all sorts of things that help or galvanize a staff team or whatever it is to help move an organization forward using strategic communications. And we're really happy to be a part of this. Really seen over time how organizations and nonprofits they often struggle with their voice. They often struggle with making sure that they have a message and a strategy that resonates with the audiences that they want to pursue and need, frankly, to be successful. Whether it's donors, whether it's people that they need to be engaged with from an operational perspective, or any number of other strategic challenges. And so we're thrilled to be a part of this, offering organizations the opportunity to work with me and do some planning and strategy, or help to really come up with that messaging that will help propel them among their audiences and give them something that they're confident will resonate with the people they're trying to communicate with.
Jason, that's as an organization who, again, kind of when we were talking about trying to put yourself in the shoes of your audience, like sometimes that's really hard to do when you're inside the organization. So I imagine that that's part of what you help is like make sure that the messaging that you're getting out there, if you don't reach the right audience, you could be like using a megaphone, but if you're not using the right language, it's not going to resonate. So that's awesome. I really appreciate your help, and I can definitely see how getting the right message to the right people can help nonprofits optimize their time and energy in communication, because it does take time and energy and effort. So making it targeted is going to be great. So looking forward to finding a great nonprofit for you to work with, and thanks for being part of this process.
Thank you. Looking forward to it.
All right, thank you, Whitney. I don't know if I thought Corey was going to be speaking on behalf of Whitney. So Corey, I believe you know Whitney, and talk about the financial empowerment workshop that she's delivering, and if you know anything about her organization and the grant that she's offering.
Yeah, thanks, Nate. So I met Whitney earlier this year. Actually, got introduced to her in part through Evolve Systems. So thank you, Evolve. Whitney is a financial advisor, but she also does some speaking about the financial sector, and she focuses on your personal kind of financial personality. So Whitney can come in, speak to your employees. So a good fit for this would be an organization that wants to provide some value to their employees, but also get some value out of that, because having people understand their financial personality and making sure that they're in the right financial personality to achieve the goals that they have, in general, will make people happier, right? When people are worried about money, that's no fun.
Right.
And so, if I'm an employee and I'm coming to work and I'm having financial issues, I'm bringing that to work as well. And so being able to help people understand that and navigate that better provides some value to the individuals and the organization.
Corey, I love that, and I'm excited to meet Whitney, because I feel like this is something that, unless you've chosen in your life to focus on some of those things, or unless oftentimes going to school doesn't teach you this stuff, and so unless your parents taught you, which I know there's lots of people, including myself, I don't feel like my parents taught me some of this stuff, unless you have someone like a Whitney or that can speak into your life and help you out. There's just things you don't know. You don't even know, like, what are the targets and some of the guidelines and some of the ways in which you can could be successful in your financial empowerment. So I'm excited about that. That's great that it's helping people with financial literacy. It's a huge gap in the world, but that's awesome that we'll be able to help a nonprofit and their team with that. So thanks for sharing, and thanks for connecting Whitney and Evolve. Thanks for connecting Whitney as well. All right. Laura is not look, and everybody listening in, sorry. Look, we trying to coordinate schedules, like 18 different people. We knew it was going to be a challenge, so we just kind of threw something on the calendar. Like, look, if you can make it, you can make it. If not, no fault. So the folks that aren't here, I don't want to kick them in the shins or anything, because I'm super thankful for them bringing their grant to the table and offering their adjudication services. But unfortunately, not everyone was able to make this time. So, Corey, could you speak to Laura and what she's going to bring to the table and her organization as well?
Yeah, absolutely. So I haven't actually met Laura, but I am familiar with Coalition 9. Aaron Eggert is the founder of Coalition 9. He actually used to be a client of my tech, so that's kind of a fun connection. And I'm a member of Coalition 9. So Coalition 9 is a peer group for business leaders, and actually Keystone Group, just to give a little plug for Coalition 9 and the great work that they do. I met Keystone Group through Coalition 9. So, again, it's a peer group. It's a great place. Like you were saying earlier, Nate, if you're a leader in an organization, sometimes you can't talk about the things you want to talk about with your coworkers. And so being in a peer group where you're able to confidentially discuss those things and help each other out is really the goal of Coalition 9 community. So I believe it's a 1-year subscription to Coalition 9. Obviously, the onus is on the person that receives that to actually go. But I can vouch, at least for my group, it's very valuable. And the company that would benefit from this is any company that has someone in leadership that is looking to expand their leadership capabilities.
Corey, that I love it to learn about other peer group related organizations, because I'll tell you, my tech has participated in a peer group every quarter since 2006. So quarter over quarter for the last, so I guess that's 18 years, my tech has participated in a peer group. And the reason I say that is not to brag, is to say it is hands down the absolute best thing that's ever happened to us. Like, and we didn't seek it. It found us. We were so fortunate that it did find us, and we've learned so much. So I would agree with you that if you want to be a student of running an organization, if you want to be the student of a continual improvement in your world, participating in a peer group is one of the best things you can ever do. So that's awesome. That I didn't even know of Coalition 9. So thank you, Coalition 9, and Laura and Aaron for your donation of these services, as well as participating in the grant process. All right, Jennifer. Yes, I was hoping to see you. Marketing consultation. So Rocket 55, another great marketing organization in town. They've been doing great work. So Jennifer, could you talk about again, just like everyone else, right? What are you bringing to the table, and like what is the specific either challenge you're trying to solve, or where would an organization find themselves where they should, this could really help them go to the next level?
Yeah, thank you, Nate. Well, Rocket 55 is a full-service digital marketing agency, so we have a wide range of different areas of expertise. So we like to leave this a little open so that we can be as helpful as possible, depending on the challenges that the nonprofit is facing. It seems to me that typically some of those challenges are around budget and resourcing. And so if this is something that you find yourself in as a nonprofit, including some information about the details of the challenge you're facing, or if you want a second set of eyes on an existing strategy that you're using to try to, raise funds or increase your reach on social media, or, set up your HubSpot or whatever it is. We have like a wide range of expertise that we can bring to the table. And our goal really is to award this to someone who we can provide really actionable and practical recommendations for, and so that it's kind of turnkey in terms of like we hand you recommendation or assessment and you can go back to your organization and make use of that right away. Just trying to add as much value as possible. The other option is also if you are finding yourself in a transition in terms of your messaging or your organization's mission or something along those lines. We do have brand strategy capabilities, and so a workshop and messaging could be something else that we could provide. Basically, we leave it as open as possible so that we can be as helpful as possible.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I feel like there's been a few folks that are taking that are really, or at least have the potential or the opportunity, if that's the right fit, to help around your messaging and getting to the right audience. And it's amazing to me over all the years of working with our marketing team. Stephanie does a great job. Is that it's so hard. This is like one of the hardest things I think any organization does, and it can't be overlooked of how critical it is that like getting your messaging right, or your communication right, or your strategy right, which then leads to your communication, getting all that right allows you to put all your efforts like in the right direction, right, as opposed to just like all over the place, where you might be doing a lot of work but not really getting the traction that you need. And sometimes it's like that I don't know, what is it, like thinking of, like, I think Ben Franklin said something like, for every minute of planning you get an hour of productivity out of it, or something like that. So like this is one of those things, like taking a step back, planning, thinking through it to make greater progress in the future. So Jennifer and Rocket 55, thank you so much for your participation, not only for the grant but also in the adjudication process, and look forward to working with you through this process as well. Thanks, Jennifer.
Excellent. Thanks.
Thank you. All right. I don't believe Bala's here. So Corey, thanks again for stepping in and sharing. I know that you were a part of connecting a lot of these folks with the grant. So talk about the grant here, and as much as you know about the organization, as far as the benefit or what they're targeting, or what organization might be thinking about that this could be a good fit for them.
Yeah. So I met Bala earlier this year. Bala has a lot of experience in the nonprofit world. He was a Rotarian, is a Rotarian, has led different Rotary groups. He's done a lot of speaking to Rotary groups. He's run some larger nonprofits, and all of that kind of came together. And he has come up with AFNets, which is a a software package specifically designed for nonprofits. They're offering 3 different prizes, each an 18-month subscription to this software. The nonprofit that is a good fit for this is the nonprofit that has, 18 different applications that they're using and they're not speaking to each other very well. All of that is kind of wrapped up into AFNet. So whether it's membership tracking, donor tracking, there's board communication, there's a board portal, there's even the ability to automatically share from within that system into social media platforms. So again, if you're struggling with applications not communicating properly with each other, or there's a lot of manual processes, AFNets might be a good solution for you to look at.
Yeah, that's great, Corey. Obviously this because you and I just did a session on this, is that managing and having visibility to all the different applications that you use, that you're paying for, the functionality, it could potentially be a huge waste of money and a huge waste of time if you don't think about that as part of your planning process, as part of your management or operational management of how you do business or how you function. So that's cool. I'm looking forward to meeting Bala and learning more about that program and that system and how that works. So AFNets and Bala, thank you. Even though you're not on the call, thank you for being part of the process, and look forward to meeting you and working with you in the coming months. All right. Moving on to the technology services grant. This is the last one we're going to talk about today. This is a $250,000 value. This is, I know a little bit about this one, but I'm going to hand it off to Todd and or Leaf. I'm not sure if Leaf's been able to stick around or not. But to talk about that, and I'll help chime in too, as Todd is about 1.5 years into our organization, doing a great job, but is not as familiar with this as someone who'd been doing it several times. But he's definitely been working with the clients with whom we're already donating these services, and so he has some familiarity in that regard. So Todd, as the general manager of our Minnesota location, sponsoring the Make a Difference grant in Minnesota, tell us a little bit about the grant.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Nate. So Todd Barnes, General Manager for the Minnesota branch here at MyTech. First of all, I have to say, wow, watching participants here in the grant and hearing about their companies and what they have to offer. Great opportunity here for lots of organizations. I'll speak to, again, I haven't been through this process. I'll speak to how we're supporting our existing grant winners. And it's really all about, this grant is perfect for an organization that wants to make sure that they can focus on what they do well, and let us focus on what we do well, and make sure that their internet or their IT, their infrastructure, their users are taken care of, and IT is easy for them, so that we'll make it hard for us, and we'll make it easy for you so that you can focus on what you do well in supporting our communities.
Yeah, and ultimately, this is it's an estimated value for 3 years of managed and professional services, so that it's all the things that you effectively would need to run your organization from an IT perspective, as well as the project, the change management that comes with life cycle management, things like that. Now, the thing that we're not including is the product, different software licenses, your product that you might have to buy, equipment, but it is the services. And so, and that's, thank you, Stephanie. That's where I was going to go, is that I feel like one of the targets that we're looking for is an organization who, this is where I feel like we found, and the adjudicators that we've worked with over the last several years have all come to the same consensus and conclusion that we're looking for an organization where they're on the cusp of this next phase, this next chapter in their life cycle and in their journey, and technology is one of the roadblocks and obstacles really holding them back. And one of the challenges that we've had, and this is where finding the right fit, and is that for every dollar that a nonprofit or any organization in general spends on hardware or software or licensing, there's typically minimally $3, if not $4, of professional services and managed services required over the life cycle of that product. And so ultimately what this grant is looking for, and we want to be very clear, and we want, just similar to some of the other grants, by the way, is like, we want board participation. We want to make sure the budget is there. We want to make sure the executive director is supported with the board from a budgetary perspective, we're asking this nonprofit to be in a position to invest the dollar, and then over the next 3 years, we're going to donate the next 3 or 4 in services. And so that's ultimately the right organization. We're hoping to find that one that this will be a significant catalyst to help them expand their reach, make sure that technology is not holding you back, but also in the position to invest the $1 into quality equipment and licensing so that we can support and provide the other 3 or 4. So that is the Technology Services Grant. Todd, before we wrap it up, any final thoughts?
Yeah, so what we've seen, we've been able to see nonprofit organizations succeed very well through the years. I know we have one that I think is 20 plus years or 20-ish years of service with us, and it's exciting to see these organizations succeed because we're able, in part because we're able to take technology off of their concern list.
Yeah, and Todd, you mentioned something earlier too. That's like, look, this is what I hopefully I'm good at this. I like to feel I'm pretty good at what I do, and my tech is good at what we do, but we're good at this. We're not good. We are not, working with the community at large like the nonprofit community does. So that's exactly, we're hoping to be just a little bit of a contribution to help you do what you're already great at and to extend what you're already great at. And so we'd be honored and feel privileged to be a part of your journey through this grant process. So here's where we're at. Together we make a difference. The applications are open through November 20th. So right before the Thanksgiving holiday, mytech.com/grant is the application process. What we would recommend doing is that you can download a Word document version of the application, so that way you can prepare your answers offline, review the answers. You don't have to apply for every grant, by the way. You can choose which ones you want to apply for, so you don't have to apply for and fill out everything. If you want to apply for all of them, you can, but you don't have to apply for everything. We know that investing in grant writing is time consuming, and there's a lot of grants that get thrown at you, and so we're trying to make it as easy as possible. If you have the Word document, download it. Fill out the appropriate parts of the grant that you feel are applicable to you, that you're interested in, and ignore the other ones. That's fine. But we really look forward. Please spread the word. Again, with and all the adjudicators and the businesses that are offering grants. Thank you. We really do want to try and have an impact, a positive impact on the nonprofit community, and thus hopefully having, again, at least a contribution to helping solve some of the challenges that every community faces, but in particular in this journey, in this round, the Twin Cities community. So thanks a lot, everyone, for watching, and we look forward to seeing you at our event that is happening in the future. Please register. It's on the December 4th. If you're applying, we want you at the event. We're hosting an event. It's going to be great. It's one of the best. We did this grant in Colorado earlier this year. That night was one of the best feel-good nights I've had in a very, very long time. And just the energy and the vibe, and we want to create networking opportunities for everyone that's applied, as well as all the adjudicators to get to know each other and make sure that we're building a community to do a better job and improve the way in which our community lives and operates and solve some of the challenges. So mytech.com/events is where you can register for that. But if you're getting people to apply, please go to mytech.com/grant, and you can find all the information about the different grants there. Without further ado, we're a little bit over time than we intended, but there was a lot to cover. Thanks, everyone, and we look forward to seeing you in December.